I'd like to call to order the June 12th meeting of the Board of Public Works and Safety. Roll call.
Mr. McLaughlin. Here. Mr. Desotny.
Here.
Mr. Smith.
Do we have any conflict of interest statements? Hearing none, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes. I don't think anybody had a chance to review the minutes, so we'll defer action on that. Item A is a change order. This is on the Columbia Avenue project. It's a reduction in the cost of the project of $23,067.10. Do I have a recommendation to? And I'll concur with your recommendation. We have a request for a permit from WOW for digging in the public right-of-way. They're going to be doing a buried cable. And this is up in North Hammond, in the Sheffield Avenue area, south of 131st. So I'd like to, do I have a recommendation to approve the WOW digging request?
I will make that recommendation.
And I'll concur. We have correspondence from Michael O'Pinker, Hammond Common Council President, requesting tree removal and property to be demolished at 840 Becker.
Mr. President, as to item C on the agenda, 840 Becker is also on the demolition list. It is our standard procedure that when a house is demolished, all the dead trees go with it. So it'll be taken care of in the normal demolition process.
So we don't need to take any action?
No, because that will fall right under the list of demolitions. I'm not sure what item agenda is. P. It's also listed under P.
Okay. Next we have additional correspondence from Michael O'Pinker requesting 1135 164th Place be demolished.
Yeah, Mr. President, I would just refer that to code enforcement so they can open a file.
Do I have a recommendation to send it to code enforcement?
Make a recommendation, send it to code enforcement.
And I'll concur. We have correspondence from Milan Krasinski, Hammond Port Authority, respectfully informing of the 4th of July celebration at Wolf Lake Park. They're going to have a fireworks show at 9:45. There is a Venetian night festivities up at the Hammond Marina. I think they're just informing us.
Mr. President, they need the board's approval to have fireworks
yes.
for Venetian night because it's outside of the 12 holy days.
And I'll concur. Item F, correspondence received from Chief of Police John Doty granting permission to the residents of Bering Parkway to hold an annual Bering Parkway 4th of July parade July 4th. Do I have a recommendation approving that?
Bering Parkway, I'll make a recommendation.
And I'll concur. Are you going to be part of it? We have Chief of Police John Doty to close the 6700 block of Huron Avenue on July 12th between 10 a.m. until 8 p.m. And this is for a block party. I'll
make a recommendation.
And I'll concur. We have correspondence received from First Baptist Church requesting permission to close State Street from Oakley to the railroad tracks and Oakley from Sibley to State Street from 4 p.m. on Monday, July 14th through 10 p.m. on Thursday, July 17th. This is their annual teen conference, and they do this every year. So do I have a motion approving those closures?
Make that motion.
And I'll concur. Item I is a request received from the C-Click Fix requesting a stop sign at 4003 to 4005 South Grover Avenue. They're saying that they're speeding in that area. Do I have a motion for Gary Gleason to do the necessary time study?
Make that motion.
And I'll concur. Next we have correspondence from Mrs. Ethel Hall requesting permission to close off the 800 to the 1100 block of Field Street to host the 5th annual Field Street Mega Festival from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday, August 2nd, and from 9 to 5 p.m. on Sunday, August 3rd. She's also requesting a police officer to be present for the opening and closing. I don't think that this has gone to the chief yet, so do I have a recommendation to refer this to the police chief? And I'll concur. Item K, correspondence received from Miss Tiffany Woods for a street closure at 1100 block of Cleveland for the 4th annual Back to School Block Party, Saturday, August 2nd, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. I think this one hasn't gone to the police department yet. So, well, recommend that it be sent to the police chief. Then the police recommends to us. Correspondence received from Laura Melchior requesting her side of the street at 4425 Torrance Avenue be closed for July 5th from 2 to 8 p.m. for a birthday party. Has this gone to the chief yet? So we need the same recommendation that this be sent to the chief. And I'll concur. Correspondence received from Mike Hull, grievance chairman for the Hammond Firefighters Local 556, requesting hearing dates for 2 grievances not settled through previous steps or grievance procedures.
Did you say which 2 it is, Mrs. President?
No. Unless it's on the attached, wait, there's some attached paperwork. Yeah. At least he's got one of them. He's got both of them.
Okay, I would just ask we bump this up 30 days, so we have a chance to take a look at it.
What?
30 days, please?
30 days out? When is it? Do you want to set them both for the same day?
Yes.
July 17th?
Sure, that's-
Does that work for you, Chris?
That's fine.
Make a recommendation that we set the hearing for July 17th.
And I'll concur. We have a business license revocation hearing for 2 Gold Dust Incorporated.
Good morning, Gary Matthews here for 2 Gold Dust Inc. And we've discussed a resolution with the city attorney's office, and Ms. Cantar would make that recommendation to the board here.
Mr. President, the city is going to place 2 Gold Dust Inc. on a 6-month supervision. The license is going to expire anyway at the end of June, so we're going to place them on a supervision of 6 months, and I would ask the board to accept that.
And I'll concur.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have an administrative hearing for license permit violation for Mohammed Salah, Sunshine Jewelry, Sunshine Cash and Gold. Wait.
I think that's the, oh, yeah.
Sorry, it took a little bit to get out of the audience. Good morning, members of the Board of Works. I'm Justin Murphy on behalf of the respondent, the Mohammed Salih, the Sunshine Jewelry, Sunshine Cash for Gold. We are likewise here on a license permit violation. We have conducted discovery. We believe we've negotiated an agreement with the city. And again, I guess I would defer to the city attorney to tell the board the agreement.
Mr. President, we have also agreed to place this license on a 6-month supervision.
So we need a motion.
Motion to place the attorney to place the license on a 6-month supervision.
And I'll concur.
Thank you, Board of Works.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have demo hearings. The first one is, these are ones that have been continued. First one is 840 Becker.
Mr. President, on 840 Becker, I believe Mr. Black is here on behalf of the bank. Mr. Golding has also contacted us. However, because there's been no progress, we would request the Board of Works to enter the demolition order as presented. Notice has been given to all owners or persons with substantial property interest in the property. So we'd request that to be entered.
I'll make
And I'll concur.
Thank you.
Do you want me to make notes on here?
No.
Okay. Then we'll move to 1531 Brown.
City motion to continue to August 28th.
Motion to continue that.
And I'll concur with that. 7247 Calumet.
Mr. President, this is more of a status for the board than anything. There has been an attempt to enter into an agreement to rehab. However, it has never been signed in return. There have been no word from the owners. And we have given a notice, Attorney Cantor has given a notice to NIPSCO on June 10th to disconnect the power, and it's proceeding to demolition.
So the recommendation is,
It's just actually just a status for the
Just
board. There's
status.
no action required.
okay. Next is 6735 Carolina.
City motion to continue to August 28th.
Motion to continue to August 28th.
And I'll concur. 1903 Clay.
1903 Clay, 1909 Clay, 443 Conkey, 410 Conkey, and 247 Doty. City motion to continue to August 28th.
Continue all those properties to August 28th.
And I'll concur. 1325 Field.
Yes, 1325 Field. Attorney Johnson, I believe, is present here today on behalf of the lender. Unfortunately, there's been no progress on this property. We did speak with Attorney Johnson prior to the hearing. We'd request the order be affirmed and entered as presented, notice having been given properly, and we've updated Attorney Johnson on the status of the property, which is a hardest hit property, so he knows that.
I would agree with everything that council just stated.
Thank you. So we did request the order be affirmed and entered as presented.
So what's the action you need from
Mr. President, we're asking that you affirm the order of demolition, which will be presented by the city.
make that motion?
I'll second.
You got Joe's.
Move on to 6327 Forest.
We've had some contact with Mr. Egerbrecht, the owner. City motion to continue this to August 28th.
Make that motion, continue to August 28th.
And I'll concur. 1956 Hayman.
Mr. President, we're happy to report to the board that the final inspection is in process, and it is the city's recommendation to remove this from the list.
Make a motion to remove this from the demo list.
And I'll concur with your recommendation. 6320 Harrison.
Mr. President, this along with 6132 Harrison, city motion to continue to August 28th.
Make a motion to continue to August 28th for those two properties.
And I'll concur. 6257 Holman.
Mr. President, this is the old John's and Verona Pizza on the corner of Kenwood and Homan. This has, pleased to report to the board that the outside has been fixed up. Has met with Mr. Cook, the building commissioner, and they are coordinating an inspection. We'd ask by city motion to have this continue to August 28th for status.
I'll concur. 6039 Jackson.
4742 Homan, Mr. President, is a continuance to August 28th, 2014. I don't know if you have that on your list or not. 4742 Homan.
Make a motion to
No.
continue 4742 Holman to August 28th.
Oh, I skipped over that one. Sorry. I'll concur with that motion.
And as to 6039 Jackson, city's recommendation that this be removed from the demolition list due to expiration of the demolition order.
Make that motion.
I'll second. 835 Lions.
835 Lions, is anyone present here on 835 Lions? Hearing no one, Mr. President, the city's request to enter the order of demolition as presented and affirm that order. There has been proper notice given under the statute of the under the Inside Building Act.
I will make that motion.
And I'll concur. 222 Marble.
222 Marble, due to the expiration of the demolition order, city's recommendation and request this be removed from the demolition list.
Make that motion.
And I'll concur. 6317 Monroe.
City motion to continue to August 28th.
Make the motion continue to August 28th.
And I'll concur. 6239 Monroe.
6239 Monroe. Come on up. Ruben Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez is the owner of the property. We believe that there's been a new roof put on, but there's never been a order entered or a rehab agreement entered. So what we would request is to hear from Mr. Hernandez if he's willing to enter into a rehab agreement with the city so that we can set forth what needs to be done on the property. There's been some progress, but we just want to at least have it in a situation where there's a inspection and a rehab agreement. So that would be our request to Mr. Hernandez. Mr. Hernandez, do you understand what we're asking for?
I don't understand, okay.
Okay. What we'll do is hopefully, so do we have can I have your phone number? And we'll have somebody call you and explain to you what the request is.
Okay, 773,
773.
320,
Uh-huh.
25, 20.
Okay, so what we're going to do is city's request to continue this to August 28th, and the building department will contact Mr. Hernandez to explain it to him. Okay. Yep. Okay, August 28th. Okay, we'll send you a letter, and someone will call you and explain to you what the city wants. We want an inspection. Okay.
Okay, that's
Okay.
good. Okay.
Yep.
And I'll concur.
Get the phone number.
827 Morris.
77332.
Morning. This particular property, I'm here on behalf of the former owner. It was just recently sold, and new owner was here momentarily. I think he stepped out because of some issue with his translator. My client had intended to rehabilitate the property. He was in the process of doing so before it was sold. I believe the new owner wishes to continue with the rehab. I'm unaware whether a formal agreement has been entered into at this time.
Mr. President, it's the city's position that here's the issue. There's been no water in this property since 2009. It's boarded up. The last inspection report we have is the front door was kicked in and the garage is wide open. There's, unfortunately, and this may not be the fault of Mr. Bartholomew's client, there's been little progress, and we'd like to keep it more under control. We do know that the new Buffalo box and water line have been installed, so there's an indication that there's some work being done, which is great. But what we would request, subject, of course, to Mr. Bartholomew's agreement, would be to enter the order of demolition, hold any permits, hold it from being bid out to allow for an inspection to take place, to have the new owner pay for the inspection, and to hopefully enter into a rehab agreement so that we can, better have this property under control. It's just been going on for too long, and again, it's not necessarily Mr. Bartholomew's client's fault, but because he's the new owner, but we do want to get it under control by the city.
Agreeable to those terms?
I can't speak for the new owner, unfortunately, since I just represented the old one. I'm not sure what happened to the property owner. He is here. If he's just requesting that we have it inspected and keep the repair process rolling and keep tabs on it, I don't know why he would have a problem with that. Obviously, if he's going to continue in possession of the property without it being demolished, it needs to be repaired. But again, I'm not in a position personally to agree to those terms.
Christian, what's the new owner's name?
I just met him today.
Okay.
So,
well, I guess our position then would be, without the new owner present and with Mr. Bartholomew actually entering on behalf of the old owner, which appears doesn't really have any possessory interest any longer, it would be the city's position to request to enter the order of demolition and affirm it. We will hold off on doing any bid. We will not bid it out, contingent upon the new owner contacting the building department at 853-6316 and paying for the inspection between now and August 28th.
Make that motion.
And And I'll concur. 6431 Nebraska.
Get his name, Christian, give it to me. If you get his name before you leave, give it to him. Mr. President, we're going to request, the city would request that this be removed from the demolition list due to expiration of the order.
And I'll concur. 5730 Northcott.
5730 Northcott, this is more of a status for the board, just to inform the board that we will be bidding out this property, and because no substantial work, or any work for that matter, has occurred on the property and the rehab agreement is about to expire, we will not bid this property out until, I'm sorry, we may bid it out before August 28th, but no work will be done on the property before August of this year. No action required by the board.
5727 Northcott.
We did get a phone call this morning from a owner, Christine Lira, who called and said she was not able to attend the hearing due to being called into work. City's request to continue this to August 28th.
Make a motion.
And I'll concur. 3545 163rd Street.
City's request to remove this from the list due to expiration of the order.
Make that motion.
I'll concur. 1106 177th Place.
We did have Ms. Planer, the owner of the property, here earlier, and she's reported, and it's been confirmed by the inspector, Mr. Saliga, that the garage has been totally repaired and this can be removed from the list.
Motion removed from the list.
And I'll concur. 1106 177th Place.
We just did that. That was the garage.
Oh, that's the one?
Yep.
That we just did?
Yes.
I didn't check it off. 6804 Parish.
This, along with 4149 Sheffield, city motion to continue this and Sheffield to August 28th for status.
Motion to continue
No
the
objection.
properties until August.
Thanks, Christian.
1233 Sherman.
1233 Sherman. Per the building commissioner, Mr.
Somebody
Cook,
open up.
progress is being made on this property. Oh, how you doing?
Yeah,
Can we get your name, sir?
Anthony Rios.
Mr. Rios, are you the owner?
Yes.
Okay. It's the building commissioner's report that progress is being made on the property. You're still working on it?
Pretty much finished almost everything on the list, the electrical, plumbing, gas, electrical's on, everything's on. So,
City's request would be to continue it to August 28th and allow for the city to make a final inspection of the property by then, with hopes to remove it from the list. Okay, thank you.
I'll concur.
August 28th.
And we have 1439 Sherman.
City's motion to continue to August 28th. The house that Habitat for Humanity just came into possession of and is going to begin work on, we hope.
Make that motion.
And I'll concur. 4320 Torrance.
4320 Torrance. 4320 Torrance. Hi, how you doing? Could you go ahead and state your name and,
Andres Rodriguez.
okay, Mr. Rodriguez?
He bought the house and he's cleaning it out right now.
Okay, I think we got an email from somebody. Is
Yeah.
it from you? Okay. I emailed you back, and basically, the problem with this house, Mr. President, is it had a fire, it's boarded up. We did receive some correspondence from Attorney Jeff Polk, and who indicated that this has been sold to another party. I'm assuming that's you, Andres. What was your last name? I'm sorry.
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez. We do have Mr. Rodriguez's email, because he emailed me yesterday. The issue is that there's been no permits or no agreement signed yet. So what we would request is to have the order entered and affirmed as presented to the board, and nothing will happen until at least August 28th to allow Mr. Rodriguez to go ahead and pay for an inspection to enter into a rehabilitation agreement on the property. Mr. Rodriguez, do you have a problem with that, or do you agree to that?
He says he already paid for the inspection. You already got the report for the inspection?
Yeah, in May of 2014, but there's been no agreement to rehabilitate entered yet. So what we're asking to do is we'll enter an order, we'll hold it off, nothing will happen on the property to allow an agreement to be entered. We'll set it over for August 28th. If there's continues to be progress, we'll continue it again, most likely. So I just want to make sure he's okay with agreeing to allow us to enter the order to demolish the property with the agreement that nothing will happen to allow for an agreement to be entered. Is that okay with him? Okay? Okay, sounds like we have an agreement. Then we request the board to enter the stipulation of the parties to allow the order of demolition to be entered and affirmed with no action on that until at least August 28th to allow Mr. Rodriguez to enter an agreement to rehabilitate with the city.
And I'll concur.
Mr. Rodriguez, do you have an address we can contact you at? Okay, could you give that to Ms. Cantor again?
Okay, 4006 Toll Avenue.
Mr. President, this along with 5658 Walter and 5554 Walter, we would request by city's motion to continue those three properties to August 28th.
Motion on those three properties.
I'll concur. 5658, oh, we've already done, what, all three, right?
Yes, we're at 5606 Walter now.
5606 Walter.
Good. Yeah, we agree. 5606 Walter, this is again more of a notice to the board. There's been no progress, unfortunately, on this property, and the city will begin the bidding out process and move towards demolition of this home. So no action is required by the board.
Okay. 938 Wilcox.
938 Wilcox, I think Mr. Attorney Swords represents the owner on this property. The issue here is that we have sent a rehab agreement over. We do not have a signed rehab agreement back.
Okay. We've had discussions with Attorney Cantar and with Building Inspector Cook, and we're going to ask that he signed an affidavit of occupancy, so he's moving into the property. He's going to repair it himself and get the permits that's needed in order to do that. But we've provided a lot of documentation to verify that he's an owner-occupied. It's an owner-occupied premise.
Yeah, I don't think the city has any objection to the fact that it is an owner-occupied home. I think the issue here is just we need the rehab agreement signed.
Is there a rehab agreement required when an owner-occupied home?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's here. All right, okay, we can do that.
Okay, so city's motion to continue to August 28th.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I'll concur. That completes
Thanks.
all the continued demolition hearings, and now we move on to the new demolition hearings, which is item Q. (1013) Chicago.
1013 Chicago Avenue, 1013 Chicago. Mr. President, appears that no one is here present for that property. We'd request the order be affirmed as presented to the board. Service has been effectuated on the owner and those with substantial property interest under the Unsafe Building Act.
I'll make that motion.
I'll concur. 503 Conkey.
Good morning. City has been in touch with the new owner. Your name, sir?
Timothy Moore.
And Mr. Moore, you are the new owner of the property?
I am.
Our city's understanding Mr. Moore intends to build a barber shop at this address, and the city is working with Mr. Moore to allow that to happen. We would request that this matter be continued to August 28th. He has recently paid for an inspection.
Yes.
Make the motion to continue to August 28th.
All right, great.
Did you do anything to the property until then?
No.
Gotta wait till the inspection?
It says there may be some bricks falling off the side of the building.
Yes, there were some.
Address that quickly. Because
Pardon me?
that's a corner lot. It says there's bricks falling off the side.
Yes, sir. No, not bricks falling off, but it needs tuck point.
Oh,
It just needs tuck point. There's no bricks falling.
bricks are failing, so that means it's tuck point. Okay.
I'm going to have him meet with Mr. Cook to make sure that the inspection is scheduled, and he has some questions. So Mr. Cook is right there. He'll raise his hand. There he is. See? All right.
Thank you.
We're good.
Thank you.
4913 garage only.
Yeah.
Property owner coming up.
All right. Sir, could you please state your name and your address?
Efren Magana. My address is 4913 Elm Avenue.
Mr. President, the city's position on this property is that the issue is that the garage was built not to code, and there's several issues. But actually, the home is in great shape. There's no issue with the home.
Was the garage built recently, or is this an old garage?
Last year, and they put a stop work order on it, I believe.
Yes.
Okay, and actually, Mr. Cook is coming back up to discuss the issues with the garage. What happened is that the garage, for example, was built with all the studs are undersized. I'm sorry, all the rafters are undersized, and the building department has had a objection to the way it was built.
So they just need to bring it up to code. I've tried to attempt to pull out the permit. They wouldn't give it to me. Several attempts, multiple.
Did you pull a permit the first time?
I didn't. The contractor should have done that, but they didn't do it.
Who was the contractor?
It's Gonzalez Construction from Chicago.
Are they licensed in the city, do you know?
Probably not. That's why they didn't pull it. And now I'm screwed. And when one of the attempts I filled out my application, the gentleman here with the blue shirt pulled the application right out of my hands. That was the last time I tried to pull a permit.
That was after you made some directory comments from the secretaries, for Mr. Novak and myself. He was not happy with the fact the stop work order was in place and that work was going to be redesigned or by contractor.
That's not correct. I was just coming down from court, and the commissioner here, they were gonna issue me the permit. I went down to the application, and he said I wasn't gonna get it, so he decided just to pull it out of my hands, and I feel that's not correct.
The pictures will speak for themselves.
You took pictures of when you pulled the permit
No, when they put the stop
out of my hand? Oh no, I know that. That's correct. There's no problem with that. This is another issue.
So, I'm sorry, it's Macania?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Macania.
Look, is it feasible to fix this garage?
Absolutely not. It doesn't comply with setback requirements, either rear yard or side yard.
There were no permits taken out on this? And this
No permits, no. An unlicensed contractor applied for a permit, obviously could not get it. That's an unlicensed contractor failed the test to do it. I don't know who built this garage, whether this gentleman built it or he hired this unlicensed contractor. I do know that he has been found liable in city court and a judgment's been entered against him. There is, even if it complied with zoning requirements, there's nothing about the garage that is correct. At all.
All the walls are correct. They told me, Bob Vell, he went to inspect it. All the walls are correct. They were good. I just need to do the whole roof.
Walls are leaning.
The rafters, well, they could put them up to plumb.
And you'd have to move the garage over about 2 feet.
That's where the existing was.
Yeah, and I think
this is just coming up. This is new to me because they said everything was correct except I had to do the new rafters, and I have to pay a licensed contractor to do that. So, because I can't obviously do it.
If the setback requirements aren't correct, you'll have to get a variance from the Board of Zoning or the Plan Commission. So you may want to talk to an attorney about that, because I mean ultimately, if it's in the wrong spot, even though the old one might have been grandfathered in, if you do new construction, it changes that. Okay, so you might need to, if you really want to keep it where it is, you might need to get a variance from the Board of Zoning.
Okay.
So you might want to talk to
Did
an
it have
attorney
a
about
new
that.
slab? Or
No, it was.
Use the old slab?
Yeah, it's been there. I mean, everything's. This is new to me. They're changing all this. They just told me to do the new roof and rafters, and now they're changing it. I don't know. This is new. And this guy he wants to do he's licensed here. That's about the only guy I found that could do it. He said he could do it, but I don't know. I mean, if Soto pulls out the
Did you already
permit.
pay this contractor for this?
Oh, yeah, I paid him.
Even with the wall being, you know, there's a 4-inch lean on one of the walls.
That's not correct. That's not correct. That's not correct. 4 inches, come on. You put the.
You can see it in the picture.
Yeah.
That it's leaning out a lot.
Yeah.
The city engineer has a pretty good eye because we put a 6-foot level on it, and it's 3.5 inches out. So I'll give you the 1/2 inch stand.
Yeah, but well, we could let the contractor
Did this go
look
through
at
a
it.
winter yet?
Oh, yeah, the heavy storm this year.
So it didn't start leaning until after it had a snow load?
No, no, no.
In spite of this gentleman referring to everybody in my department by very derogatory names, we are willing to work with him in whatever way possible, but he has to comply with building and zoning regulations, just like every other citizen.
Yeah, that's correct. And I've been trying to apply for the permit. I didn't get it, so now I have to hire somebody to do it.
What he
But-
needs to do is take what he has now and start from scratch. Apply for a building permit, submit a set of plans like every other homeowner or contractor does. If it requires a zoning variance, you'd have to obtain one, just like every other citizen does. And if he decides to build it himself, both my inspectors and myself will sit down and show him how to do it correctly.
I can't build it myself.
The existing garage has to come down.
And Mr. President, for those reasons, the city's position is that it would request the board to enter the demolition order as presented, and that would be the presentation kind of our case to the board. If Mr. Macania has additional information or evidence he'd like to present to the board, you know, obviously he has the time to do that now, but our presentation is concluded and we request the board enter the order.
Well, if the contractor, he already looked at it. He said all the new rafters needs to be up and straighten out a little bit of the wall, and it should be up to code. I mean, if he could do the
In
work,
the wrong spot. That, you know, that issue needs to be addressed too.
Okay.
You're gonna need a variance for where that garage is actually located.
but I don't know why they're saying it's in the wrong spot. I'm getting the survey done. I'm gonna get it next week, so I could correct that. That it's in the wrong spot. Some
And so,
cruel surveying is doing it.
and Mr. President, the city's position is that we'd like the order entered to demolish today. We'll give Mr. Macania time, you know, before we demolish the garage, but we'd like him to at least, you know, get Mr. Soto in, talk with the building commissioner, you know, he should consult with an attorney regarding any zoning variance that he may need. And so we'd like to enter the order, affirm the order today, and we'll set it over for status on August 28th to see what progress has been made. If no progress has been made at that time, we're going to move forward with bidding out for the demolition. That would be our request.
So is Soto's gonna be able to take a look at it, do the work, or what should I guess it's because they need to meet, I guess, right there on the property.
And you'll also have to address the issue of whether it complies with the setbacks.
Which is the zoning issue. Setbacks is zoning issue.
Okay.
I mean, it's all possible to do this. Your original contractor didn't appear to have known what he was doing, following the rules. So I'll make the motion to enter the order with no action to be taken until August 28th. We'll get an update on the project.
And I'll concur.
We have Soto call. Okay, good luck.
Move on down to 551 Goslin.
One Goslin. Mr. Johnson's here. Anyone else here for 551 Goslin? Mr. President, the city's position on this property, I could go on for a half hour regarding Ms. Avalos and what has gone on between her and the city. At one point, she had filed bankruptcy up in Chicago. Bankruptcy was dismissed. The bank filed to foreclose this matter in January. We are, once again, it's a home that has a big hole in the roof. We would request the board enter the order to demolish and affirm it as presented.
Afternoon, or morning more appropriately. As was stated by the city attorney, that's correct. We filed a foreclosure suit. We are not at the point of judgment yet, nor are we at the point of sale. My client, Chase, would be willing to make repairs to the property. However, in my experience, they would like to be further along with the case and at least have a judgment secured. For my last meeting with Ms. Avalos, she was living in the property, and hence, well, because she's living there, that kind of limits Chase's options to go in and repair it if there's somebody there. I just would request from the board that we get a little bit more time to pursue the judgment and then make the appropriate repairs once that time comes. But
And we're fine with allowing the bank some time to get to judgment. If we could, again, just enter the order, we'll stay at till August 28th for status, and I'm sure Mr. Johnson will stay in touch with us.
Yeah.
Provided he doesn't have any objection to that.
Well, I just would voice my objection. I would like some more time, but I do recognize that the history of this case is quite long and quite tortured. And this is not the first notice from my review of the record that has been sent on this property.
How long has that hole been in the roof?
Oh, it's probably going on 4 or 5 years.
And it's not covered with a tarp or anything? It's just water going
correct.
inside the...
Last inspection, that's correct.
Ms. Avalos,
The building's gonna be demolished. There's no way you're gonna save a building that's had a hole in the roof for that long.
So again, yeah, our motion would be, our request would be to enter the order, affirm it. We'll stay until August 28th, allow Mr. Johnson some time to speak with his client on it.
And I'll concur. Thank you. 510 to 512 Kenwood.
I can't either. 510 to 12 Kenwood, 510, 12 Kenwood. Mr. President, no one appears. We do have good service. We'd request the order be entered as
I'll concur. 3331 176th Place.
Mr. President, an inspection was ordered on this property, and, the owners are here. Hi. Could you state your name and your address, please?
Mabel Edwards, 521 Clinton Street, Gary, Indiana. But the property is 3331 176th Street.
And I believe that,
I paid $100.
yeah, $150.
And I don't get a couple of estimates too.
Yes, Ms. Edwards has paid. It's going to be our suggestion and motion that the matter be continued to August 28th to allow the inspection to occur and to allow Ms. Edwards to work with the city on a rehabilitation agreement.
And I'll concur.
You said August
August
what?
28th, we'll send you a letter.
Oh, okay.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Have a good day.
Okay, you too. Who do I?
Go down to the building department to schedule the inspection, and I'll help you schedule.
Oh, I already paid for that.
Yes.
They have to wait on Mr. Cook.
Okay, Mr. Cook will contact you then. Yep, he'll get in touch, and we know that you paid for it.
Okay.
So you're all set.
All right,
All right,
thank
thank you. Have a good day.
All right, you too.
1011 177th Place.
1011, 177. Morning. Good. Could you please state your name and address?
James Strozowski,
Spell
120.
your last name.
STREZOVSKI,
Your address, sir?
128 South East Street, Crown Point.
Are you the owner of the property?
I represent Conrad Whitmore and Blake.
Are they the owners of the property?
Not quite yet.
Sir?
Yes, sir.
Where are you at in the tax sale process?
Our attorney is Bob Golding, and we're waiting for the deed as well as a quiet title. And I'd like to request that it get moved to August 28th.
So you do have a deed? You already have the tax deed?
I don't know. We do it.
Or is that already long?
That expired.
Okay, so you are working towards getting the deed?
Correct. Correct. If we could continue to, what was that, August?
August 28th. Do you have any objection to the order being entered? And then we'll just hold off on everything until August 28th. During that time, you can pay for an inspection.
I would, repeat that again?
So what we'll do is we'll enter the order of demolition. Because here's the issue. It's a single-family house, got a bad roof, soffit fascia, and half the siding's missing on the property. It's in bad shape. We'd like to enter the order of demolition to the city. If you guys don't do anything, you don't get the deed, you revert back to the county, whatever it may be, we can keep moving on it. We won't do anything till August 28th. That'll give Mr. Golding time to contact us,
I would prefer that no judgment be entered until we get our deed and proper paperwork, and at that time, we would be willing to pay for an inspection to move forward to rehabilitating the property.
And hopefully that'll be done by August 28th, but until then, our position is that with no one actually here, no attorney here present,
Well, we don't know if we're going to get our deed or proper paperwork by the 28th as well.
and if they don't, they can come back and tell us that, but given the condition of the property, our request is to enter the order of demolition. Mr. Straczynski, I'm sorry if I'm
Strozowski
has any evidence to present that counters the city's position. He's more than willing to, or more than able to give that right now, but the city's position is, due to the condition of the property, it should be, the order should be entered.
I mean, right now, Your Honor, Mr. President, the city's cutting the grass on it. You know, the tax sale purchaser can go cut the grass on it.
We would, I have cut it twice already, and we'll maintain the grass and keep the yard up as best as we can.
I'll make a motion to hold off on any action until August 28th. You can come back on August 28th and ask for another extension of it.
I'll concur with that.
Okay. All right. Okay, figure it out. All right, good. Okay, good.
644 Sibley.
644 Sibley. Bartholomew's here on behalf of the
Morning.
owners.
I'm here on behalf of the present legal title owner, which is Equity Trust, FBO, Joe Wittig, IRA. Presently, we are foreclosing on the land contract that existed with the individual who has equitable ownership of the property right now. I'm not sure how long that case is going to take, but regardless of the disposition of that matter, my clients informed me that he does not want to rebuild the property, so it's going to come down one way or the other. I think it's just a matter of under whose watch and whether the city takes that action or my client does. Presently, he's looking at places that could perform the demolition.
I guess I first wanted just a couple things. The city's very familiar with this property. This is where the fatal fire occurred, where the children passed away last year. The neighbors have started to complain that the condition of the property, which is still in very poor condition. This is within the last 2 weeks. This was the notice was posted. It is part of the hardest hit program. So I guess I want to at least advise Mr. Bartholomew that it has been tagged for potential money available for demolition through the state program. We can give you contact information for Mr. Alamillo so that the owner can contact them if he's willing to deed the property over or donate the property over. I think that would facilitate getting this property down, which I believe would be in the best interest of the community and obviously the owner as well.
I don't see why we would have any objections to that. The only issue that we might have as far as deeding it over would be the unclear status as to title on the property right now. For closing on a land contract, depending on the call the judge makes in that case, I don't know if he's going to give us a forfeiture or if he's going to say the thing has to go to sheriff's sale. But as I said, I don't think there's any dispute that it should come.
And Mr. President, for that reason, we would request that the board enter the order as presented and confirm that demolition.
And I'll concur. 1033 Spruce.
Thanks.
Mr. President, this is a cut-up. There was an inspection paid for and performed on April 28th. We'd request city's motion to continue this August 28th.
I'll concur. That completes the new demo hearings. We'll move down to item R, status hearing on property located at 504 and 506 Kenwood. Is there anybody here? that property owner? Were they properly notified?
President, I'm not sure what 504 and 506 All right, Mr. President, the issue with this property is 504, 506 Kenwood is owned by an unknown entity. Demolition property, the city obtained a demolition order. There was a person who wanted to buy it, and we said, well, here's all of our information. Find somebody to sell it to you, so be it. I suspect they had as little luck as we did in trying to find the person who owned it. It was owned by a bank that went defunct, that was put under receivership and non-existent.
I've got a note here that it was bid for demo on May 8th.
Correct, and somebody had asked that we hold off on it because they wanted to buy it, but until the person to buy it. So I would say that we would like to support the demolition.
And I'll concur. Item S is a rental registration for property located at 1121 167th Street. There's somebody here from David Pratt.
Okay, first off, the address is wrong. It's 2212 167. It's a typo on here, I thought.
2212.
Yes.
So it's not 1121?
No.
David Pratt?
Yes, I am.
How many rental units are in the building?
Just one. It's a house.
One? You want to state your case?
Last year was, I'm new to rental properties. I got the certificate last year. And then this year, I thought it was the end of April. I didn't realize the date was the 15th. I came in to pay, and I had missed the 15th. So I'm appealing for a reduction of the late charge.
So you only owe for 1 year?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so, and what year is the year that you owe it for? 2014?
2014.
Okay, so you can either wait until we send you a letter on this, or you can wait till after the meeting and take a copy of this downstairs.
Okay, thank you very much.
That's all I need to do. Next rental registration is for property located at 6618 Meadow and 2650 164th. Ronald Berggren?
Correct.
How many units is that total?
Total, there's 8 units, all one bedroom.
Is this, state your case.
I just thought it was the end of April and not the 15th of April. I just had my dates.
Have you always registered before?
Oh, yes. This is the first year I was late, yes. Oh, yes, definitely.
And I'll concur. So it's what, times 8? He's got 8 units. It's like 640 bucks. Okay. You can either wait till after the meeting and pick up this paper, or it'll be sent to you.
Okay, thank you.
And then you have 30 days to pay. Okay, the next one is rental registration for property located on Sibley Street, but it doesn't have an address. Diego Gutierrez?
Gutierrez?
I think so. Gutierrez? Do you own property on Sibley Street?
Yes, we do, sir.
What's the address?
917
917?
Sibley. 917 Sibley.
17? How many units is that?
It's only one. It's a house.
It's just one?
Yeah, it's a house.
How long have you been renting it?
20 years.
Did
23.
you always register before?
Yes.
This is the first time you missed?
This is the first time we just visit. I come out like a week or 2 weeks after, pay. They told me not.
And
I got the check.
2014.
Excuse me?
It's for 2014, right?
Yes, it is.
Where do we write the dollar amount? Here? Everybody else always did these. I don't need to write the dollar amount. Okay. They'll take care of that downstairs. So you made the motion, and I'll concur.
Appreciate it, Mr. President. Thank you very much.
You can either wait till after the meeting and pick this up and straighten it out, or it'll be mailed to you.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
26, 25, 163rd place, James Bobeck.
Yes.
How many units is that property?
It's a single-family residence. I have paid the license in previous years, and I am in good standing with the city. I went on the 21st thinking the due date was the 30th, so they said I had to go to this hearing in order to get the fee waived.
So that's for this year, for
That's for this year, yes.
And I'll concur. Same story, you can either wait till after the meeting, or this will be mailed to you, and then you can straighten it out within 30 days.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Next one is a rental registration for property at 827 Logan, 5632 Beal, 1042 Becker, 6137 Garfield, and 426 Lewis. Jose Martinez. Is there a Jose Martinez here? Jose Martinez. You want to make a motion to deny the appeal since no one's up here? Make a motion to deny the appeal. And I'll concur. What do you do? If you deny it, we don't even know how many units it is. We just don't sign this one. You'll just make a note that it's not, yeah. Okay. Okay, item X, rental registration for property located at 3714 Toll and 905 Carroll. Arlen Van Eck, is that you?
Yes.
How many units is this total?
This would be two houses,
Two single families?
two single-family houses.
Okay.
Please, the board, I have some information on the properties. For 3714 Toll, the property was registered in 2006, 2007, skipped in 2008, then registered again in 2009. The late fee was waived in 2010 for Mr. Van Eck, and then registered for 11, 12, and 13. On 905 Carroll Street, the first time it was registered was in 2009 due to the police being called to the property, which then in turn got us involved to determine it was a rental. There was a late fee assessed for 2009 and 2010, and then it was registered on time for 11, 12, and 13. So very familiar with the registration process as well as the late fees the city imposes. So just for your information, that's what's been going on at the properties over the last couple of years for registration.
You want to state your case?
Well, yeah, that is correct, sir. Yeah, it is correct. Because of the market, and then we remodeled it and put it on the market, and there again, we were involved in the remodeling, forgot to sign up for our registration again for this year, and I remembered April 28th, so we missed it by 2 weeks. But we,
So he's paid for it the last 3 years for both properties?
11, 12, and 13, yeah, both were registered on time the last 3 years.
But prior to that,
Prior to
rule
that,
inconsistent?
we've had some issues. We waived the late fee already in 2010 for the toll address. In 2009, there was a late fee assessed on Carroll, and then also again in 2000, there was a late fee assessed for failure to register.
And the late fees, they were paid?
Yep, everything was entered in the system. However, I am curious on the toll address, Mr. Van Eyck. You state that there was some remodeling going on. However, during my research, I didn't find any permits pulled for that property.
that was just mostly painting and fixing up on the inside.
All right, just mind me on that.
That sounds fair.
I'll make a motion to waive the late fee on one of the properties and impose the late fee on the other property.
Thank you, that sounds fair to me too.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to pay one late fee and 2 registration fees, so the total of that will be
$660?
$660, yeah.
Do I get a letter, or do I have a form that we can submit?
Well, it's up to you. If you want to settle up today, you can wait till the end of the meeting, or you can wait for the letter. You have 30 days to settle up.
You will send me a letter?
Yeah, it'll be sent to you.
Okay, we'll wait for the letter if that's okay.
Okay. So which one is it? It's 660.
So good cause has been shown, which is one, and then one has not been.
Let me just make a note here. One late fee. Plus,
Person has to register one unit, or I guess with one unit.
is that good enough? One late fee plus 2 registration. Sorry about that. We're just trying to make sure we fill these out right. This goes with that. Next is Y, rental registration on property located at 6646 Harrison and 6638 Harrison.
That would be me.
Excuse me.
Carol Schrum Munich.
Yes,
How many units are in these 2 properties?
they are duplexes, so 4 altogether.
You want to state your case as to why you feel that you shouldn't be assessed a penalty?
I'm guilty as charged. It just, the run-up to April 15, I had a lot of other financial papers floating around.
You
and
always paid it in the past.
I was, yeah, I'm not overdue. I've about the units. My father built them.
Mr. President, late fees were waived in 2011 for these properties. She was late in 2011.
So there was a late fee waived at that time?
2011, yeah.
Okay.
Wait one of those 2 late fees.
Well, actually,
There's
President,
4
4.
late. There's 4 late.
The late fees have previously been waived.
In my pitiful defense, I will say that after the April 15, I was actively looking for the reminder that customarily would come on the water bills for those properties, and it was never there. I had read in the paper earlier that season that there was some confusion about the fees being used for inspections, and there was a bit of a kerfuffle, and I was confused and was wrongly assuming that since there was no notification given of the fees being due, that perhaps it was still in flux, perhaps it was still being settled.
I'll make a motion to waive 3 of the 4 late fees.
We're going to charge you 1 of the late fees. So what's your recommendation?
Well, thanks. I'll take a little mercy then.
I have 820.
Yep, that's what I have. I hope I'm filling these out right, because I've never filled them out before. Okay, thank you. Next is 4009 Holman, rental registration hearing. Mr. Gamez?
Yes.
Single-family home?
Yes, it is.
You want to state your case?
Well, on April, I went to ask, because I was waiting for a letter. I thought that every year we would get a notice about paying this. And then during the cold weather, I couldn't go because I was sick. So when I felt better, I went, and they told me that I was 2 weeks late. And so then I told them, they said I would have to pay $500. I told them I didn't have it, and they said, well, I could come here and see if I could appeal it, because
Have you always paid it in the past?
I have paid it. I don't remember being late.
Are you only, this is the only year?
Yeah, she's registered in 2011, 12, and 13 on time. You started ownership in 2011? Yes, and it has been registered on time.
I'll make a motion to waive the late fees.
So you can wait till after the meeting and we'll give you this, and then you'll be able to pay the $80, or you can wait until it's mailed to you.
I'll wait. Thank you very much.
Next is 6817 Rhode Island. Mr. Guzman. How many units is this?
This is my dad, Salvador Guzman. He just has a little hearing problem. 6 units, sir. And he also was waiting for this thing. I asked him about the registration. He pulled out 2012, and it was like the 18th when he pulled it out. Dad, we got to go in. We came in and they told us we had to have a hearing. We own it. Sorry.
Our records indicate this is the first time they've been late registry. First time they've been late registry.
First time?
6 units.
And my dad's owned the property for 25 years, and we keep it up, and this is the first time we've ever been late, sir.
Well enough.
You've never had to waive the late fees on this property before?
No.
I'll make a motion to waive the late fees.
Okay, so you show good cause, 2014.
And my father says this will never happen again because he's going to make me in charge if we keep keeping track of it.
Okay. So you're going to owe $480 for all
Okay.
units. And you could either wait for this.
Yeah, he wants to take care of it today, sir. It's killing him waiting all this time.
Pay today?
Yes, sir.
If you want to stick around after the meeting, we still have a lot
That's fine.
to go through, but here in another half hour.
Okay, gentlemen.
Okay,
Thank you very, very much.
you're welcome.
Have a good day.
Thank you very much.
Next is 7106 Marshall, Jill Reese. I don't know if I pronounced that right.
Christ.
How many
I-
units?
Just one, a single-family house. We used to live there, and then we rent to our church family. So I've always had it. We always got a postcard, and this year we didn't. So when we drove by one day, my husband's like, "Are we supposed to do that?" I'm like,
Registered all the other years?
"Yes." It's been like 3 years.
Indicates it's the first time they've been late. It's got a note in here that, states your daughter lived there?
Yes. And you don't have to register if it's your daughter, right?
You have to fill an affidavit saying that
Oh,
whoever
I didn't
is
realize that.
occupied by immediate family. We still want the name and contact information in case.
Okay.
police-
Okay.
Is she still staying there?
No, now it's church family.
So it would have to be registered.
So is it being rented for money?
Now it's being rented for
Yeah.
church personnel. Before, previously it was occupied by their daughter. They had an affidavit for 2010, but it is now rental property. But this is the first time they've been late with the affidavit or late.
I'll concur. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And you'll mail that?
Yeah, we
Thank you.
can mail it to you. Next is, well, it says on the agenda 3025, but it says on the form 3027, 165th Street. Relinsky? What's the correct address?
3027, 165th.
3027? Is it
Mhm.
single family or multi?
Single family.
There was a Board of Works decision on October 12, 2011 to waive the late fee for 2010, $80 for one unit. We've had some issues with the attic bedroom that seems to be taken care of. So in decision for May 5th, 2011 was to waive the late fee for 2010.
Basically, I haven't gotten rent from my tenant since last September, so I haven't gotten anything from her. And I did forget, I was in the hospital, and when I came home, I did forget it was in the end of April. I didn't get a card. I even have my check that I made out because I called right away and made the check out to see if I could pay it. And they told me I have to come to court.
When did you try to pay it?
The end of April. I made the check and I wanted to send it, but I thought I'd better call because I finally found my old thing where it said the 15th.
Mr. President, just for the record, we do everything we can to notify people that they need to register their units by April 15th. It's almost 4 months out of the year to register for properties. And I understand situations that come up, but the excuse that we didn't notify them is, after several years of doing this, is getting quite old.
I understand.
We do everything we can to notify people and to keep them informed. We go above and beyond trying to get that information out. At some point, you didn't tell me, it's got to quit being an excuse. Maybe not in this instance, but it's...
I'm sorry. I really am not
I
blaming you.
understand, and it's a situation, it's difficult, but giving 4 months out of the year to register, and then having to revisit it after that, because we didn't notify anybody.
I'm just frustrated with not getting any rent. And I am in the process of trying to evict her, and we're trying to sell the house or whatever. I'm almost foreclosed on it because I'm not getting rent.
Never wait more than a month if they're...
I know. I just didn't have the heart. I'm too soft on it.
I can understand that. It's often the case.
So you haven't collected any rent? from your
Anything
tenant
since
this
last
year?
since last September, and I'm so frustrated. I'm in the process of almost losing it because I can't make that house payment. I'm still working. I shouldn't be. I should be retired.
Is it,
Chris?
Attorney Cantor, can we impose a smaller penalty than?
No, it's only $500. If you start prorating it, it's pretty much all or nothing. The ordinance says $500 late fee for not registered by April 15th. The board can waive it for hardship, though.
But we cannot prorate it.
No.
I hate to do this, but I'll make a motion to waive the late fee. And you really need to get the whole.
I know. I know.
we
I
wanna see
am in
her
the
next
process
year.
of evicting her. The winter was so severe. I couldn't do it. She didn't have a job, and now it's just hurting me.
So we have a motion to waive the late fee and discharge. I'll concur with that motion.
They waive the late fee, you have to register for 214 at the regular rate. You can wait till after the meeting to get that paperwork, or they can mail it to you.
Okay,
Take
so
care
I
of
just
it.
have to pay the $80. Okay, I'd like.
you're gonna have to wait for the paperwork, either after the meeting or it'll
Oh.
be mailed to you.
I can have it mailed to me then. All right, thank you very much.
Item DD, 4545 Henry, rental registration hearing, Barbara Burton.
Hi.
How many units is this?
Just one, a single-family home.
Want to state your case?
I do. It was simply an oversight. I realized it a week later, and I called in to make an attempt to pay it, and they told me I needed to have a hearing. And this is my first
Paid it
time.
previous years?
Yes, 2 years before.
This is the first time?
Mr. President, I have that she's registered since 2006. I do have notes on this one.
2006?
Registered since, the property's been registered since 2006.
I only owned it since 2011.
So you and the previous owner always did it until this year?
Okay.
What do you do?
Have you changed tenants? There was a police report, somebody named DeAndre Benjamin hit the collar in the head, and then there was.
Not since I've owned it.
Okay, and there was another family disturbance from 2012, female says someone is a psycho.
I've never even known about that.
Okay.
No knowledge of that.
But you purchased it 5/5/11, right?
Yes.
And both of those police calls came in after you purchased it. One's 12/8/12 and one's 5/10/13.
I have no way of knowing. No one informed me of that. But thank you for doing so. Thank you so much. Wow.
We've never waived the,
No, Mr. President, not my notes, not for my notes.
I'll concur.
Thank you so much.
But you need to keep an eye on your tenants because you are responsible if they are creating a havoc in the neighborhood.
I will do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you have to wait for the paperwork or it'll be mailed to you. Either
It
way.
can be mailed.
Okay, next is,
Thank you.
3303 175th Place, 3433 163rd Street, and 7348 New Hampshire. Paul Ferguson,
I'm standing in place of fall.
how many units is that total?
There are 3 houses.
There are 3 single family?
Yes, sir.
You want to state your case?
Florida. And I think he sent his registration in, but it was late. And they sent it back to him. So he asked me to come here and stand in for him. I've been recently looking over those properties for him. I do not know their history. I know the one house, it was empty for quite some time. And so I fixed it up completely, or had it fixed up, and he's rented it out now. That was at 3303 175th Place.
What's the history of the rental registration of the property?
Well, 43303 175th Place, the one that I have notes on, in 2011 is currently under renovations. In 2010, there was currently not rental property. But for this year, this is the only year they've been late. Previous history.
so first, no, we've never waived the fee.
First year they've been late.
Make a motion to waive the penalty.
I'll concur.
Thank you.
Okay. Next is 6625 Parish.
Mr. President, I just want to have information that it keeps in current every year except this year, and I would ask that you grant it.
Late fee waived in 2011?
Is this single family?
Here, it was here, you talked to the attorney.
Yes.
Oh, okay. You talked to Kevin Smith before the hearing.
I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry. 6625 Parish. Yes.
Is that a single family home or is it multi-family?
Single family.
Mr. President, I would recommend that we waive the late fee on this.
I'll concur.
We had an objection to the jurisdiction of this court, the Board of Works. The law in Indiana is very clear that the place down the hall, the city court, exclusively hears ordinance violations. There's no jurisdiction to proceed on this at all, and that's our motion.
Mr. President, if I may, the fact that city attorneys asked for a waiver of late fee. One of the reasons we come to this Board of Works for the appeal is so the decision doesn't fall solely on me or Mr. Callahan or anyone else. So we come to an impartial board to have that done. If we do this in front of Judge Harkins' court, he rules that they've been late, there's an additional $300 fine that's added to this. So the late fee would then be $800 per unit. This is an opportunity for them to make their case in front of the Board of Works and have just the $500 late fee apply if the board chooses so. If it goes in front of Judge Harkins, there's an additional $300 fee that's written into the ordinance.
If I may, state our case on what? We're here on an appeal hearing, and there's nothing to appeal, for goodness sakes.
Mr. President, then I rescind my motion. We could not hear this appeal, and we could take this matter to the city court where there is a minimum of $300 fine per unit. If he is found to have not registered 6625 Parish in 2014 by April 15th.
If that's an agreement that the proper jurisdiction is in the city court, we accept that wholeheartedly.
No, it's not an agreement. I'm withdrawing my motion, and we can set this matter over until the city court matter is concluded.
Well, it would certainly be an admission that that's the right jurisdiction then. We'll accept that gladly.
We're trying to make you happy.
Mr. President, I'm not conceding that the jurisdiction is improper. I'm just saying if Mr. O'Connor prefers to take this in front of Judge Harkins, we can take it in front of Judge Harkins and
Mr. O'Connor prefers to follow the law, not at the expense of getting other things accomplished.
next stop in the city court.
Did you have a motion?
Just take no action. We can just leave it, continue it generally.
Just for my own information, who's the other member of the Board of Works now? There's 2 out of 3 here. As I recall, there were 3. Oh, okay, thank you.
So we're not going to take any action?
No, just take no action, continue it generally, and we can take it up in front of Judge Harkins.
Okay, 840 Goslin, 838 Goslin, 4512 Pine, and 4523 Pine. Bernard Koch. Is that you?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, Mr. President, for these properties, I'll start with 840 Goslin. This is the first on my list. He's registered since 2006, except for 2008. For 838 Goslin, there's been a whole mess of police calls, 7 police calls. 10/8 of 2012, family disturbance. Sister's boyfriend is refusing to let the complaining witness do something. They don't give you the whole thing. 11/10/2012, states a friend of his keeps coming over there. 2/14 of 13, respondent old man David Morris is there and shoved somebody. 2/14/13, David Morris just came back and hit the reporting person. 2/16 of 13, ex-boyfriend David Morris is calling. 6/29 of 13, responding person hears a female yelling and cussing. 5/12 of 14, with reference to tenants that are refusing to pay rent. And then the third one is Pine. Okay, for 4512 Pine, police calls. 6/29/13, harassment, ex keeps calling over and over again. 8/11/13, family disturbing husband James Forsythe is there causing a problem. 425 Pine has registered since 2008. So what we have, Mr. President, is we have 2 nuisance properties in the city of Hammond, and this is the landlord for them.
Oh, I thought I was here for is that I went to pay taxes. They wanted to know how many I had to put on the window. And I told them I couldn't pay that much. And on top of that, they ain't none of them paying any money.
Right, well, what are you gonna do about your tenants tearing up the neighborhood?
What?
What are you gonna do about your tenants who can't behave themselves?
I want to throw them all out. But the trouble is,
how many units
I
are all
got the
properties?
cops. And they said that they changed the locks on the property too, see? And then I couldn't get in. Then the cops told me, you can't go in
Mr.
someone's
President, what
house.
we have here is what we have a common problem in Hammond. We have a landlord who lives in Michigan, and he has no idea at all what's going on with his property in Hammond. But
Michigan?
He's probably, you don't live in Union Mills, Michigan? I'm sorry, Union Mills, Indiana?
Yeah, I live in Union Mills and I know what's going on.
Then how come you don't know about those police calls?
What?
How come you don't know about the police calls?
Oh, that's the one, yeah.
I would not make a motion to wait.
They got her out of there.
His being a landlord in Hammond is more of a detriment than a
How
benefit.
how many units is the total of all these properties?
Three of them in town.
What, they're
And
single-family homes?
No, they don't pay no rent.
Huh?
They don't pay no rent.
I didn't ask that question. I asked, how many units are we talking about here? You got 4 addresses. Are they all single-family?
Yeah.
Do you even know how many people are in your unit?
Yeah, I got, wait a minute, 1, 2, 3, 4. And they changed the locks, I can't get them out. I tried to get them out, then the cops come out there and says, you just can't go in there and throw them out.
Standard procedure is to file eviction papers. You do it in city court, you do it in county court. Just show up and ask someone to leave is not going to do it.
See, then I went to see a cop.
How many years has he not paid the registration fee?
How many what?
How many years have you not paid the registration fee?
Because he has registered since 2006, and 2008 on the properties. The problem is these are problem properties, and it's costing the city of money every time you send the police out there.
Yeah, that's what they told me. See, that's the one I threw out. She only weighed about 500 pounds, that's all. And then she'd call them out and everything else, you know. So I didn't have much choice. But she left her stuff in there too, and I can't even throw it out. I want them out of there. Yeah, I want them people out of there, boy. I'll tell you in a worse way.
Hasn't shown good cause.
But I can't get them out. And they want that cop wanted 400, no, that lawyer wanted $400 to get him out. My pension's only $607.
Did he register in 2013?
Mr. President, he's registered every year since 2008.
Yeah.
On all 4
This year
properties.
he has.
Correct.
Isn't there a way I can get them people out of there? That's what I wanted. Is there a way I can get them out of there?
That's a separate issue. You need to.
See, I went and I talked to that lawyer, and he wanted $400 and some dollars in that one where the cops come all the time. She's the one I did hire a lawyer for, and that's the one that the cops kept coming out of. See, and that cost me $400 and some dollars to get her out. I can't go to another.
It's important to screen your tenants.
Huh?
It's important to know what sort of tenants you're renting to.
What's he saying?
He says it's your responsibility to make sure the people who live there aren't problems. It's not our responsibility.
That they're done. That's going up to a real estate dealer. That's where that's going. Whatever they want to, one of them outfits that buy property. That's what I wanted to do. But I got to get them out of there.
Mr. President, we got other items on the agenda.
I got to get them out of there.
No, I think we need to take action. No, we're going to say, good cause has not been shown, late fee of $500 per unit will be imposed.
Oh, I'd be tickled to death if they could get them out of there.
And I'll concur. So you haven't shown that there's good cause. You're going to owe $2,320 in fees and late fees. And you should hire an attorney because I think you're going to need one.
I've got to do something, but they don't pay no money. I Gotta do something. I'm gonna go to one of them people.
Okay, thank you. We're going to move on to the next property. The next property is 1419 Truman. Ms. Gonzalez?
All right. Okay, Ms. Gonzalez. Mr. President, this one has been registered since 2006, but again, we have another one where we have constant family disturbances. 7/31 of 2013, family disturbance, responding person hears two females yelling and screaming. August 1st, 2013, family disturbance, baby mom was there causing problems. 8/1/13, and your cousin's mama attacked her. That one's, probably need to draw that one
They'll
out.
send you the mail.
11/23/13, family disturbance, wants to get items from ex-boyfriend. 12/8/13, criminal mischief, Dennis Reuters kicked in her door. Then there was an uninhabitable sign posted, and on 12/9/13, a tenant ripped off the uninhabitable sign after a dispute, wanted to clear up that it wasn't her to make sure this wouldn't interfere with the upcoming inspection. No one's living there. 2/6/14, Public Parks Gonzalez issue will comply with our order if we can get it affirmed, and 2/6/14, Board of Works confirms removal of the basement apartment. How long have you owned this property?
About 10 years.
Okay, so all these problems are her.
No, they're being
correct.
Oh. My tenants that gave me all those issues, I did evict them. I went
This
through
is
the
a
court.
single-family home?
It's two, well, it used to be 3 units, but by all the cops coming to my property, the nuisance, I got, now my unit went down to 1 unit. It's only rent out 1 unit, because I evicted all of them, and I only rent out 1. One's only available to be rented out.
So it's single-family right now?
Yeah, single family. And all those tenants that gave me the nuisance are gone. I evicted them.
All right, Mr. President, despite all the problems the tenants have caused, Mr. Kearney has indicated they've been cooperative in removing those people and the basement apartment, basement apartment and garage apartment. And so he's asking to waive the late fees of 2014.
And I'll concur. So you owe $80, and you can either wait for the paperwork or it'll be mailed to you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. 603 Mulberry, Arturo Gonzalez.
Yes, sir.
Is that you?
Yes, sir.
How many units is this?
It's 2 small units.
2?
Yes.
You want to state your case?
I guess really no excuse, but I usually, the past years, the city of Hammond was sending reminders every year. And I kept the reminders with me so I know where the due date was. Well, this year they never sent it. In March, we had all kinds of problems in the families. People going to the hospital, my father-in-law, my daughter, my son, and everything went by me. And I came here on the 30th thinking there was April 15 or March 15, and I was already late. I never missed before. This is the first time.
First time?
My understanding, I have not had research on this.
Yeah, no previous issues.
I'll make a motion to waive the late fees.
Thank you very much.
So you're going to owe $160 for the 2 rental registration fees for 2014, and you can either wait for the paperwork or it'll be mailed to you.
Thank you.
Okay, that completes the rental registration, I think. Next, we have a specific findings of fact regarding 7035 Parish. It's a 4-unit building submitted for approval. Anybody from code enforcement want to comment on this or anything?
If it's the specific finding of fact, that's the recommendation of code. Just needs to be approved or not.
Recommend approval.
And I'll concur. Okay. Next one we move on to is 7909 Chestnut. We have a specific findings of fact for that property. Yeah, you just recommend. Okay, and I'll concur. Next, we have specific findings of fact for 7137 California. And I'll concur. We have a specific findings of fact for 7604 Catalpa. And I'll concur. We have an agreement to rehabilitate at 2408 Birch.
Mr. President, it's a demolition property. The owner wishes to rehabilitate. I would ask that you approve it.
And I'll concur. We have a request for late rental registration hearings. When do we want to schedule these, Board Secretary?
July 17th? July 17th?
And we have some on the day, like the 24th and Thursday.
July 24th? You want to recommend that they be scheduled for July 24th?
I'll make that recommendation.
I'll concur. Garage sale permits? Oh, it's garage sale season. There's a whole bunch of them here. None of these are for more than 2 days. Huh? Okay, do we have a motion to approve the garage sale permits?
I'll make that motion.
And I'll concur. We have a disposal authorization submitted for approval. These are vehicles from the police department. I just recommend that we approve that. And I'll concur. We have correspondence from requesting the 5400 block of South Chestnut be blocked off for a block party with pony rides. This is for Saturday, June 28th. It doesn't appear this has been approved by the police chief yet, so this needs to be referred to the chief. Somebody ask a question? We need a motion to send that to the police chief. I'll concur. We have correspondence received from St. Casmer's requesting barricades to assist in traffic control for the Corpus Christi Day procession for Sunday, June 22nd from 1:30 to 3:30. We need a motion to approve and also refer this to Gary Gleason so he can, and I'll concur. Next we have a letter from NIPSCO. NIPSCO's going to need a lane closure. This is from matters from other board members. Because they have to do work on a gas main at Kennedy and 173rd. The closure will be for one evening, Monday, June 9th. What's today?
Today's June 12th.
Yeah, why is this coming in now? I wonder if they rescheduled this. I just got this. Yeah, let's not approve this. Let's defer action, and I'll talk to them, because obviously, why would they send it to me on June 11th? Yeah, Wednesday, June 11th, requesting a closure on June 9th. Yeah, we'll look into that one. Do we have any other matters from other board members? Do we have any matters from department heads or their representatives? New business? Old business? Meeting's open to the public. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to step up and speak? Yes, ma'am. Step up to the microphone so we can hear you. You have to come up here.
Good morning. My name is Eva Krasminski. I'm owner an apartment in Hammond, 614, 624, 169th Street. And I don't know what's happened, because last year, I paid this rental registration form for people. I have 6 unions. And now this year, I'm not have this paper, my mail, and I'm afraid God. Sorry.
So
So,
I think
this
she wants
last
to have a
amount is-
registration hearing today, but it's unscheduled. But it-
It's up to the board if they want to do it. This is what we've heard before. The building department did not mail the blue cards out this year. They just put it in the water bill. A lot of times the water bill came after the deadline, which is the reason we have so many appeals. So if the board wants to grant her appeal, I would just need to get the address one more time. If the board wants to set it for a hearing date,
I think she's trying to rent the property through a federal program, so I think they're requiring this, and that's what's holding her up. Rental through Section 8. Do we have a blank form?
Sure, yeah.
You do? You want to have the hearing now, real quick? Okay, what's your name again?
Iwa Krespinski, EWAKRZE PNASKI.
I don't know, I couldn't hear it.
Sorry.
You know what it is? I'll write it down later. What's the address?
614, 624, 169th Street, Hammond.
169. Is that single family or is that multifamily?
No, the single.
Single? And you've always paid in the past. This is
I'm
the
sorry.
only time that you've missed, right?
Yeah, this first time because, you know, I'm a fragat. Look this. Have one lady. She leave my apartment in Section 8.
She's the one that the thing came in a water bill after the due date.
I'll make a motion this time, assuming you've never been late before, waive the penalty.
Is that good?
We're going to waive the penalty. You can pay the fee. If you want to wait a few minutes, you'll be able to take a copy of this down.
Okay.
Get it all straightened out today. Huh? How many minutes? One. It's only one, right?
No, 6 unions.
Oh, 6 units.
6 unions.
So 6 times 8 is what? 480 bucks, right? Okay. So you can talk to her after the meeting and she'll get you a copy of that so you can get it straightened out today.
Thank you so
Is there
much.
anyone else in the audience, ma'am?
Hello, my name is Chantel Bass, and I live at 4620 Johnson Avenue. My daughter was having a party Saturday, and I wanted to know, would it be okay for the people to park and not get a ticket?
Park where?
On the street. It's residential parking only, the signs.
How many visitor passes are they allowed to?
Yes.
Yeah, typically 2. And it's this Saturday, so there's really not a lot of time to do anything.
I mean, I suppose you could call the police department and let them know so they don't dispatch a patrol officer, but there's not really time to notify.
They could be getting calls from neighbors too,
Right.
saying, hey, there's cars all over, parking without proper permit. How many people are gonna come to this party?
10,
Like 15?
yeah, 10 to 15 people.
I don't think there's enough notice for us to do anything.
Hmm? The train tracks.
All I can suggest is that she goes and talks to her neighbors and lets them know in advance that there's gonna be people parking there so they don't call the police. But we really don't have enough time to get a hold of the police department and let them know not to get tickets.
Or else you could have them park in the South Shore train station lot.
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if we should be recommending that. You're gonna see everybody leaving those cars and leaving the train station area.
I don't think we have enough time to take any action.
they're gonna have to make do. Either you can talk to maybe, there's some parking lots there from different groups. Maybe you can make some kind of arrangements. What's that one club they have over there? They have a big parking lot where they have the Pulaski Park meetings all the time.
What, Legion?
Yeah, isn't that right there? Maybe if you contact the VFW, maybe they'll let you use their parking lot.
Okay,
I'm sorry, we can't help you.
thanks.
Okay. Anybody else in the audience?
I will get you out of here very fast. My name is Robert Dixon, 7204 Bering Parkway, Dixon. I see on the agenda of Mr. President and Board, thank you for having me. On the agenda from the police department, you already received a letter for the Bering Parkway Parade. We've had the Parkway Parade for 23 years. I always send a letter to the Board of Works in January for the fire department and the police department and the Board of Public Works. I did not do it this January because I was going to cancel the parade. After doing it for so many years, it's just a lot of expense and a lot of work and everything. But after hearing from everybody and calling us and everything for the parade, we decided to go ahead with the parade. I went to the police department, talked to them, went to the fire department, talked to them. They said there would be no problem. Pat Moore from the park department told me to make it official and bring a letter to you like I normally do in January for the approval for the park department and the police and fire. Yeah, but the policeman or the fire chief and the police chief said there would be no problem, so I'm assuming they sent a letter over here. But Pat Moore from the park department said because they usually send a couple picnic tables and garbage cans to bring a letter to you to make it formal, so I have the letter for you now. For the record.
Yeah.
Okay. Do I just give it to you, the letter?
No, give it to us.
Can I approach?
Oh, yeah, it's been on forever.
Thank you very much. No, the parade was, this is, I think, the 45th year, because the Radoviches had it from Magoon for years and years, so I guess we have to keep it going a while. It's always been there. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else in the audience? Do we have a recommendation?
I just want to tell you, gentlemen and ladies, you're doing a fantastic job. Keep it up. Seriously, fantastic.